Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. A Court of Wings and Ruin is the final book in Sarah J. Maas's epic A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy. The King of Hybern is edging closer and closer to controlling all of Prythian, and it's up to Feyre and her friends to unite the fairy houses before their world is lost forever. So, before I do get going with this book review, you guys, since this is the third and final book, I think, we'll talk about that later in this review, since this is what I think is the third and final book in this series, I definitely do want to talk about spoiler-related things. So, if you have not completed this trilogy, turn the video off right now and come to it at a later point. Whew, yeah guys, this book, oh my goodness, seriously, I felt very satisfied with this book, I think. I did have my concerns that, you know, there was so much that had to happen in this book, so much that had to be wrapped up and explained, so I definitely had my concerns. Would this book be satisfying? And I think for the most part it definitely was satisfying, but also leaving you wanting more, and we'll definitely talk about that it seems like Sarah J. Maas is continuing in some fashion with this series, or with this world rather. But yeah, considering that this book is I think about 700 pages, something like that. Yeah, it is. It's pretty much exactly at 700 pages. Never once did I feel like the pace was slogging down. I felt like everything in this book, for the most part, was needed and it added something. And even though there is a lot of plot to get through, a lot of plot points and narrative that gotta get through, never once did I feel like Sarah J. Maas lost focus on the characters, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times you may have a concluding novel in a series, and sometimes the writer, they're so concerned about concluding the novel that sometimes they forget about, you know, focusing on the characters and still continuing to develop them. But I felt like Sarah J. Maas, through this whole book, she was still developing characters, and we were still learning new things about characters. And also still delivers some beautiful character moments, you know, like character interactions or group interactions, just still some beautiful moments like that throughout. And I also think the conclusion of this book was pretty much expected. You know, that's kind of part of the whole thing of me feeling satisfied with the book overall. Just a lot of the concluding events I predicted anyway, I was satisfied with, and yeah, a few little surprises thrown in there. Let's see, what else? Feyre and Rhysand, they still continue to be very, very sexy. I still continue to ship them and love them. The King of Hybern. The King of Hybern, I was hoping he would be in here a little bit more. He kind of just pops up at the end and that's about it. But he still continued to be very, very menacing, even off the page. And I also adored the addition of Feyre's sisters Nesta and Elaine into the story, because the way book 2 ended, they both were put into the cauldron and forced to become immortals, forced to become fairies. So I love the addition of Nesta and Elaine and what the cauldron did to them, what their powers are. And obviously I still continue to love all of the supporting characters, you know, Mor and Cassian and Azriel, all those characters, you know, I loved all of them. So this is where I'm going to get into a lot of heavy spoilers, you guys, because even though I love this book, there were still some things that I wasn't satisfied with, and I do kind of want to bring those topics up for quick discussion, and you guys, I want to hear your opinions on some of these issues as well. So, one of my big complaints about this novel as a whole, you guys, and you know what, maybe it's because I watch too much Game of Thrones. I don't know. If you watch Game of Thrones, you know that a lot of people in Game of Thrones die. It don't matter if your favorite character is there, your favorite character is going to die at some point, unfortunately. So I don't know if that's maybe what I kind of had in my head when I was reading this novel, because I was expecting quite a number of characters to die, you guys. So my big frustration Why did no one die in this novel, you guys? The thing is, some of the very predictable, obvious people died. I mean, we knew that the King of Highburn would die, obviously, and then any huge villains, you know, any of the big major villains, of course, they were all gonna die. This trilogy, it's very dark and deep, and it is all about the ramifications of war and what war does to people, and yeah, war has casualties, so it felt like there needed to be some character deaths in order for this war to make some sort of sense. I don't know, and yet for there to be stakes with these characters. Because here was my predictions for who was gonna die, you guys. I was expecting Tamlin to die. I was expecting either Cassian or Azriel to die, if not both of them. I was even expecting Lucian at some point. I was really worried about Lucian dying. And then there were numerous occasions I was like, man, if Sarah J. Maas kills Feyre, I'm going to applaud her for that, you know, killing a major character like that. And the thing is, at the end of the novel, Sarah J. Maas, she does kill Amren and Rhysand. And I was shocked, you guys. I was like, oh my god, she actually killed Rhysand. I mean, I wasn't so shocked about Amren, you know, because there were occasions I was like, maybe Amren might die, but Rhysand especially, I was like, oh my god, she killed Rhysand. But then the thing is, through some narrative loopholes, Amren and Rhysand, they don't stay dead. They come back to life. And it was kind of frustrating and irritating because, you know, during that moment when they die, you know, their deaths meant something. They added to what was going on. They were emotional and devastated. And then for them to come back, it kind of ruins the moment in some ways. I don't know if it was just me, but I'm very curious, you guys, about, you know, the issue of characters dying. Were you guys expecting characters to die? Were you upset like me that people didn't stay dead? Okay, let's move on from that and talk about poor dear Tamlin, you guys. Poor Tamlin. I'm going to refer to Tamlin as, you know, an antagonist or a foil to Feyre and Rhysand. I'm not going to really so much call Tamlin a villain because he never really came across that way, because that goes to the King of Highburn. You know, the King of Highburn kind of manipulating and controlling Tamlin and whatnot. Tamlin was just emotionally distraught about losing Feyre more than anything. But yeah, I found myself, by the end of this novel, feeling so terribly bad for Tamlin. And, you know, you start off book one with Tamlin. Book one is all about Tamlin and Feyre's relationship, because in book one you think Rhysand is the villain, but in reality he's not. It's all an act to all the other fairy houses and whatnot. So poor Tamlin, I felt like Sarah J. Maas kind of brushed him off in these final two books, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? To really focus on Feyre and Rhysand, and instead Tamlin, he just felt really whiny and irritating to me throughout the novel, because I was expecting somewhere in this novel, I was expecting at least one mature, decent conversation between Feyre and Tamlin. You know, because Feyre and Tamlin, they went through a lot with each other. They did so much for each other in that first book. So I was expecting them to have some bitterness, but then I was expecting just a moment between them, a proper, mature conversation where they talked it out and realized they need to move on, you know, especially Tamlin, that he was just going to move on. But instead, this novel ends, and I still feel like Tamlin was just angry and bitter. You know, I still feel like he just never properly moved on, that he was still kind of hateful. Because that's why I was also expecting that maybe Tamlin would die at some point, because I was almost thinking Tamlin, out of some sort of redemption for his character, he would try and save either Feyre or Rhysand at some point. So moving on to my next slight frustration, this world is not over yet, I guess. Now, here's the thing. This was only supposed to be 3 books, correct? Like a trilogy? I'm just so confused, because here at the very end of the book, there's a page back here at the very, very end of the book, and it says, "There are more tales to be told in the land of Prythian. A Court of Thorns and Roses, the series will continue in 2018. So yeah, I don't know if Sarah J. Maas is coming out with kind of a spin-off series, or if it's all going to still be part of this particular series. I don't know. And yeah, the way this book is, even though I said I was very satisfied with certain things, there were still a lot of things left open. A lot of plot threads still kind of lingering. So that's kind of my next question. Are we done with Feyre and Rhysand? You know what I mean? Is that particular story done? Are we going to focus on some other characters? Because there's so many things that were just left open, you guys. And I made some notes. I made some notes about some of those open things. Let me just look at it really quickly. Let's see. Like Tamlin, you know, my frustrations with Tamlin. Is Tamlin done with? Are we going to focus on him? Might he get a proper conclusion in another set of books? Maybe a series about Nesta or Elaine, or Cassian and Azriel. And then there's still Queen Vassa. There was a whole thing with Queen Vassa. She kind of pops up at the end. I'm very curious where that's going. Very open-ended. And then what about Lucian, you guys? And then Jurian. I love that plot twist with Jurian, you guys, because you think he's bad, but then nope, he's good. I love it. I would seriously read. I would read a whole set of books with Jurian, you guys, not gonna lie. And then, I mean, there's also the possibility for a prequel trilogy with Miriam and Draken. And I would absolutely love to see the next books in this series finish up some of these other characters, you know, go away from Feyre and Rhysand, because Feyre and Rhysand, they're done. You know, they had a proper conclusion. They have a happy ending. And yeah, I do definitely have a lot of lingering questions about some of these other side supporting characters, because they definitely ended a lot of those characters very much open-ended. So that's it for this book review, you guys. Overall, I really enjoyed this trilogy. I definitely cannot wait to see what Sarah J. Maas does next with this series, with this world. I definitely want more. So in the comments below, I'm definitely curious your opinions. How did you guys feel about this final book? How did you feel about the trilogy as a whole? And definitely feel free to talk about spoilers in the comments below. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.